Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Hemang Panchal. Another webinar exploring the functionality of Powerproject. Previous webinars are on the Solid Support website, where you will also find the information on Powerproject online training courses. Remember that Solid Support can help you with your Powerproject setup, templates, and code libraries. We are once again lucky to have Chris Ray with us from Elicosoft to conduct today's session. So over to you, Chris.
Thank you, Hemang, and good morning, everybody. Hopefully everybody can see my screen. Just got current slides on there for Powerproject and Powerproject Vision. My name is Chris Ray, I'm Channel Manager for Elicosoft, and I look after the channels, international channels for Elicosoft, and work with Solid Support. Some housekeeping just as we start. You are all muted, so unfortunately won't be able to hear you, but you can minimize the panel on your screen if it's in the way, and there is also a question section where you can type in your questions. We will see those and we'll either answer those as we go through, or at the end we'll cover those. So moving from there, what today's session is, we're actually looking at Powerproject Vision. Now, Powerproject Vision, as we go through, if I start here, will allow you, and again, the Powerproject modules and functionalities allows you to schedule 4D, mobile access, manage all your projects together, and store have a cloud storage for those. When we look at Vision itself, so if we look at actually Vision itself before we go into demonstration, what is Powerproject Vision? What does it do? So it's a web-based cloud platform for managing your Powerproject plans. You still have Powerproject on your machine, but all your projects are stored inside the Vision environment. It's a single common area where you can access all your project schedules and plans, which ensures you have the one point of truth in there. In addition to that, it has a backend that has a business intelligence database where all the data from your project schedules is stored, which means you can attach a reporting tool of your choice to there to allow it to see, report on that data. And one of the reasons we do this is everybody tells us they just use the standard reports, but most people's standard reports are different from each other. So it allows you, and people have different reporting tools in there. By using a reporting tool of your choice, you can integrate with other systems data and have a fulfilled dashboard of not just your planning data, but cost and so forth in there as well. So inside with Vision, Vision is integrated into Powerproject client software you installed on your machine. So although there is a web interface, you have a direct interface from Powerproject itself, which we'll talk through and we'll actually show you that. You can configure Vision to your own needs. So not only will it store your project, store your revisions, it allows you to create workflows to suit your needs and your business processes in there. So those can be defined. It has security roles and rules that can be defined that allow you to restrict or gain access to certain projects by certain people within the business. And again, all of this is fully customizable within the workflows. It even has an email notification system that you can set up, so when someone submits a tender or bid for approval, it could notify the relevant managers that needs to be approved. And you can put several layers of approval in there. You can also have multiple types of programs in there, which we'll talk about as we go through the system. So again, it's very flexible and very configurable. When people choose to have Vision, it will allow you to, there's a number of services we will offer through Solid Support to configure the system to meet your needs. So we don't leave you with a blank sheet, we give you a starting point with a working system. Now, the other challenge that people have is with the hosting systems and hosted data is that Powerproject, although it connects to Vision, it allows you to work on your projects, it allows you to check those projects out and work offline, so you don't have to be constantly connected to the internet inside there. So that's one of the advantages that we can see inside there. Now, Vision itself is already used by numerous companies over in Australia. One of those is CIMIC CPB, And I believe they have in excess of $1 billion worth of live projects in there, and they're growing around 100% a year on the number of projects, and that's live projects. They also use for their bids and tenders as well. Within the suite of products that we have Powerproject, the standard client. We also have Powerproject Enterprise, which is a multi-user system, which also integrates with Vision, and which is what something CIMIC are actually currently using with their schedules at the moment. So really, if we look at the different cases, what Vision is in the very basic side is it's a single repository for all your project schedules. Now, when I say a repository, it's more than just storing the projects. It has all those revisions and the recent versions. Every time someone will check a project in, that is kept as a copy and can be referred back to. And not only can it be referred back to, but those previous versions can be used as baselines. There is a function in Powerproject and in Vision to baseline, and baselining can take control of that baselining process so it meets your workflow within the business of when baselines are created, but also previous versions can be used as well. One of the other products that we have available, which can be downloaded from our website, is the Powerproject Project Viewer, which is a free download. You just register, download it, install it, and that's a read-only version. But that will allow you to look and view at projects at any time. And if you are a Vision user, the Project Viewer can connect to Vision, and you can download the latest revision of that particular plan. So from a reporting perspective, it's a centralized view of all the projects inside there. So it's by numerous structures. So however you structured, coded, costed your projects, all of that data is going into a central database and central information which you can report on. If you standardize the format in your templates, you can then start producing dashboard reports which will show you as we go through. And again, it's the governance and control which is a big part of this as well. It allows you to standardize that approach on your planning to fit within your business, enforce that control and structure around those planning processes. And it's the simple things, from the basic storage is, where's my latest version of the project? Is it on someone's desktop? Is it here or is it there? It's, always where the latest version is. It's always kept. And you can see the last time people have updated it, and only the right people have access to that side of it. So again, you can use and in the workflow, you can have approvals to move it across the different stages. Now, so if we have a look at how Vision works, you have your users here. We've got our users set up in here. These users will just check into the Vision, which is hosted in Microsoft Azure. It's actually in Australia. I believe it's in Sydney, and the backup is, I think, in Victoria. Side of there. So it's all your data there. Your data is not shared with anyone else's data. It's in its own database and own central storage. So it's all individualized. And then you can choose your choice of reporting to that. So you can choose to report through, for example, here we're going to show Microsoft Power BI, but you could use tabular reporting services or whatever else you choose to use. Now, as I go to the next one, if we look at the reporting side, and this is really high-level reporting that you can get right down to the detailed level of reporting inside any of your projects you have. So again, all that vital data is held in a central database that you can then report on. And if you standardize with the projects and what you want to report on, that's all inside that database in there. And again, some examples here, of different ones. There's one of the workflows is the built-in function to export to business intelligence, your preferred choice. And again, those reports can be written by ourselves, by Solidsport, or by yourselves. It's not something that you have to have us do or have anyone do. If you have the skills there of reporting, you can generate those reports yourself. And we have a number of customers that are actually already creating these. So examples of the types of reports, very briefly, you can have here is, and again, this is just a sample one where you have a number of projects in there, high level, with a traffic light red, amber, green system in there. And then if you click on one of those projects, you can then delve into the detail of that project. And this dashboard is made up of a number of different reports, so 6 or 7 different reports that you can see. Now, obviously, this is just an example. Other examples might be one like this, a project overview. Other examples could be one like this, where you have a different type of dashboard with some gauges on there. Again, depending on the type of project and what you want, it's just reporting the information. And again, here we have another project that's pulling in a picture, some key risks on there, some pictures and so forth that are in there. So this is an example one that a client has done inside there. So you can see there's very many different types of reports depending on your needs. Now, one of the things we are going to do here now is we're going to have a look at Powerproject Vision itself. So if I go across and I open up Powerproject Vision, and here it is. This is just a web page. I've already logged into Powerproject Vision. It's configured for me, so I can go down the side and I can look at my projects, or I can choose the menu at the top. And I have 3 projects that are currently inside here. Now, the structure and the setup that you see inside here is just the default setup. All of these features can be customized, the fields that you see inside here. So one of the challenges we've got here that we can see that it's allowing us to do is we've got a number of different projects here. And if I look at this project at the top, for example, and I expand that, we've actually got a bid version of the program and a contract version of the program. The example system I'm using has got 3 program types: bid, contract, and delivery. You might have just one program type, you might have 10 program types. They can all be configured within the system, and the workflow can be configured around those. Now, what I can do here is I'm going to create a new project in here. And again, this is creating a project from a template. So you would have a Powerproject template already set up and uploaded into Vision. You may have management or administration come in here and set the new project up. So this is new project 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in there. I can choose where that fits within my structure. This structure here is definable. So I've just created different types of projects, and I'm going to say this is let's say a land development project in there. I then have the ability to say I can have an additional project type on drop-down lists. So my project type and client and project ID are additional fields that I've told Vision I want to have, and they're stored in the business intelligence database as well. So I can say here that this is let's say it's a road project in here. I can choose my client, so I've uploaded my client list into this, and I'm going to say it's this particular client. I can give it an ID of whichever I want. I can say I'm starting off in a bid project. I can choose my template in there, and I can even give it an initial start date and work breakdown numbering prefix if I wanted to, and then assign my users. And I've got these different roles in here. These are fully definable. I'm going to assign myself into here. And once I'm happy with that, I can then choose to create this project. And what's going to happen now is, in the background, Vision is now taking the data I've asked for, taking the template I've asked for in the default settings, and is now creating that project ready for me to use. So as it's doing that, I can save those changes, and you can see there at the moment it's working. I go back into it. It's already now created a bid version of that program, and then I have a number of workflow actions that I can choose here, and the ones in bold are the customized ones I've created myself. So I have my submit, create baseline, mark as completed. I'm inside here, but again, as a planner, I may get a notification email to be told that I've now been assigned to a project. It's been created in Vision, so I'm ready now to open that. So I'm going to go, as a planner, I'm not going to go into Vision. I'm just going to go into Powerproject, and inside Powerproject, I'm going to go to File Open. I've already logged into Vision in here, but there's an option to log in. And inside here again, I can see here's my new project already there. my new project 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in there, and I can say, okay, I want to work on that. And here's the advantages. I need to be connected at this point, but as soon as I check that project out, it will download it, and now I'm inside that. I no longer need to be connected to the internet. So I can quite happily here now work and put my schedule together. I'm going to choose, for example, here I'm going to use task pools, and so I'm going to have a substructure to this. I'm going to have a superstructure, so when I set a template up, I can even set it up so now I can see some predefined structures, work packages in there that's already in there, recalculate it, and then do a reschedule. And there is my project. Make my tweaks and changes as I want. I'm happy with that. And once I've done that, I can then save that. And I can either, if I'm happy with it, I can submit it, be approved. Or if I wanted to, I can just check it back in or commit the changes. Commit changes leaves it on my machine, but updates the Vision side. I'm going to check this back in. So in here now, I can say, well, this is now going to be, it asks me when I check in the program, this is going to be Rev 1, plan setup, some comments on, and these can be mandatory if you want. And what it will then do is it will check that back in and send that back into Vision. And if I go back to Vision here, inside here, and if I look at that project, you can see it's now got Rev 1 in there already set up. So that's now inside Vision, and Vision knows about that. The advantage is, well, if I look at revisions, it shows me there's my initial program and there's my Rev 1. So all of these are kept as you go through, and this is the bid program. If I go back to projects, if I look at this particular one here and look at my revisions, you can see that we've got baseline bids baselines, we've got bids programs, and we've got contract programs. And that one here, we've got a contract version and a bid version of that. And if I just go back to Powerproject at any time, I can actually go and say inside Powerproject, when I go to open, I can see there that I've got the bid and contract. So if you've got two program types, and sometimes you might work on those two at the same time, you can do that. You can have different versions, new versions for release that you may want to show. So I can do that. So those all are displayed. If I go back to Vision, go back to details. If you have a previous version you want to revert to, you can do that inside Vision as well. So I've got this set up as I want. And then inside here, if I go into, again, if I go to my users, these are my different users I've got set up and the different roles they've got set up. If I go into my administration side, I'm an admin, so I can see all of this. I can configure the columns I can see. I can configure any filters I can see in here. I can also create my own custom enumerators, which are drop-down lists to meet my needs. So for example, the project types, I just do that. I can type those in or actually upload them through a file in there. So I can create those. My project structure, you can see these are the ones that I've created. The padlock means they've already got projects assigned to them. So I can configure it as much as I want, and then you'll see that those are the project type, client, and project ID, and I can even set the order they're going to appear in the dialog, so I know which ones I need to fill in first. You can set up drop downs that have selections. So if I selected a particular state, it might only give me certain options for just choose on the next drop down. You can have those set up to meet your needs. You can also set up your different user roles. So here's the different roles that I've got set up, but I can change those and set them to meet my needs. In there, I can set up my program types. So I've got bids, contract, and delivery. And each of these has its own number of configurations and settings that you can configure that. And you can even upload a quality check from Powerproject to run a quality check on the program when it gets submitted, and then allow it to be submitted if it passes that check. And you can even include things like a 14-point DCMA check inside there. If I go back to here, you can fully define your security rules. of who can access projects, who can delete, cancel, submit, and so forth, and who can approve. There's a whole range of miscellaneous things. And again, this is, you'll be helped through, but it shows really the flexibility of how it meets your requirements, and you have your workflow to define who can check in and what restrictions they may have, who can create baselines, who can submit a bid, and so forth, who can mark it as complete. I'm admin, so I have access to all of those, but again, different users would see limited, and by using the workflow and security rules, it will control who sees this information here and what they see. I see every project. Someone who only works on New South Wales projects may only see New South Wales projects inside there. So again, all of this is configurable to your requirements. If I come out of that, and I go back to my projects, one of the features we've got in here is we can see this list of projects inside here, but sometimes you'd want to visualize that. So we created a project structure, if you recall, in here, which is this, in here, this residential, commercial, and so forth, which can have multi-levels in it. But I've only got this level in here. We've got bids and contract. And what I can do now is inside Vision, I can just click on my portfolio view, and I can see this as a Gantt chart. So you can see here, I've got my projects, I've got residential and housing, education, hospital, nursing, land development, and then I have the projects underneath that. And I can see that I can see the bids and contract versions at the moment. But if I only wanted to look at bids, I could select that. If I only want to look at contract, I could see that. So if I just untick bids, that's the only contract programs I've got set up at the moment. And if I then clear that, I see everything. And again, I can roll these up as I do. So it's a very quick and easy way to see. But what the great part here is that I can see not just bid or not just the contract, I can see both of those. And if I click on them, it takes me to the details of that project. And again, if I wanted to, I could download the latest version from here. Pardon me. So I've set this up as I want in here, and I've got my project inside there. I can go back to there, there's my projects, and see my project list. I can go back to Powerproject, and I can look at that. Now, one of the things that Powerproject can do as a standalone product, if you have the BIM 4D module, is that you can open up 3D models with Powerproject and link those to the project Gantt chart and actually run 4D simulations. And the advantage there is it's live, it's running all the time. So as you update your project with the progress and status, you can produce updated simulations for your project, do comparisons with baselines or other revisions. Now, what Vision enables you to do here is I've got an example here, the Riverside Hospital. And what I can do is I can actually, I set this up earlier. I created a new project in Vision, checked it out. I brought in some 3D models. I created a project schedule for those and linked them together, and I checked it back in. When I check it back in, it actually checks the models, the 3D models, back into Vision as well. So what this allows you to do is you can share this plan, so anyone else who wants to look at this or use even the project viewer, the free viewer, it will actually download the models for them. So if I click on it here, I'm going to check that program out, and it's going to download. If I haven't already got the models on my machine, it will download those as well. I've already got those on my machine, so it's actually just going to open up my project. And here it's opened up, and I've now opened it up with the 3D models. These have come from the Vision environment. And again, I could have had baselines to this and so forth. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go, I can open this up and go into the BIM section, and I can run simulation. And you hopefully can see there that I'm actually generating, I've generated a 4D simulation based on my project, and it's running through there and there. And all of this I might not have had on my machine. I just had Powerproject and I've got a BIM license, and I've just checked out the project or downloaded the latest version. Or if I've got the free viewer, I could have downloaded the latest version and run a simulation from there. So it's very quick and easy to do. Now, when we talk about baselining, if I go to my baseline manager, In here, I've got my initial baseline. Inside there, that's part of my program. But I can also go to Vision, and I can see in here, that's my initial baseline there, but I've only got one baseline. But if I wanted to look at my previous versions, I can see my previous versions and I can import those as baselines as well. And if I've been running this project for the last 12 months and I've been checking it in every week, I would have 52 different revisions that I could use at baselines for comparison. And if I use that with the 4D, I could compare that with Powerproject. Now, one of the things that when I spoke before about using the enterprise system, which works with Vision, and so does the 4D. So again, that's, for example, CIMIC are using Powerproject Vision, and they're using enterprise with BIM. So they have multiple planners in working on a particular single project that has a link to a 4D model and running simulations. And that's all live interactions between all of those users in that environment. Okay, so we've checked that in, we'll check that out, done some work on it. I can check it back in here, and that's now my Rev 2. I'm going to update that. That's going to go back into the cloud, back to Vision. And as it's gone back in, if I open up Vision, I can look at the hospital in there, and I can see now on Rev 2, I can look at my previous revisions. And again, I can actually revert to that if I wanted to inside here. But also, if I look at additional files, there are the two IFC files that I linked to my project. And if I wanted to, I can download those for my own sake if I wanted a copy of those here as well. So again, all those files are stored inside Vision. So the advantage here is that Vision allows you to connect from Powerproject client. So the actual planners don't even need to log into Vision as such into the web page. All your project schedules are stored in one central location. It can be configured to work with your workflow of how projects work within your business, and all the revisions and history are all stored there. And again, the data center where all of this is working on is in Australia. It's not in another country, so it's all backed up in your own there. And with Azure, they have a dedicated backup site for all of this, so it's all set up and ready. So inside here, I've done all this. Now, once I've done that, you did see some static pictures of them, of reports inside there. If I just show you here, here's the live, well, a working version of that dashboard that we had in here, which is using Power BI, which could be published to a web page. And again, I can see my different projects, right click on one of those and drill through to the project details. And when I hover over it, I can see the details I've got in there. And here we've got some buffer consumption on projects that we're using. So that's one project. I can go back and I can look at the other ones that might have a problem inside there. I can also go into here and say, well, actually, if I bring up this as an example project or a sample report in there, let me just bring it across on the screen. This is another project dashboard, and you can see we've got a list of all the projects in there in a Gantt format in the report. Shows you different projects in there, and I can say, well, I want to look at all my projects that are behind. It will show me that. It's showing me where they are on a map. If I wanted to, if I do that, take that away. If I click on a particular project, it takes me to that details and so forth. So it's an interaction dashboard that I can use as I go through. And if I click on a particular project, it will show me where it is and the current status of that particular project. And this is just an example one. So there's many options you can do with dashboards. And so you can use those as you go. So that's just some examples of those. If I just get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that. I'm just going to move that out of the way. So just to go through the next thing, with Powerproject itself, there's two types of licenses you can have. And again, this is quite important because most other softwares works on a basis of a single license, one license per person. and which we have, where you can have an individual license to an individual person. Inside there, you can then have that license is linked to that machine. It can be loaned or moved to another machine if you want to, but obviously a little bit of hassle to do that. But it's a dedicated license. That person has got that license full time, and they've got it whenever they need. But we also have concurrent licensing. So this is where we have a pool of licensing. So if you had a 10, 20, 30 user license, you could actually have the software installed on as many machines as you wanted, but only the number of licenses you bought. So if you bought a 20 user, 20 people at a time could run Powerproject. One person comes out, another person could go in. But on top of that, those people could also have the project viewer installed, so the read-only version. And so they could there is no license required for that. It's a free license. The license itself for concurrent licensing is a cloud operated, so you don't need to have any license manager installed in your office. It just connects to the internet for that. And one of the nice things that you can do with concurrent licensing, even though it is cloud licensing and shared licenses, if you open up Powerproject, you get a license. If you disconnect your internet, that machine will retain that license. So you could sit and work somewhere without a license. You don't have to worry about VPNing, don't have to worry about guaranteed internet. As long as you've got an internet connection to get the license, it will allow you to open that up. So if anyone does have any questions, please put those in the question box and let me know. And if we don't get round to all of them, do let us know. If you have any questions about having a specified demo, please contact Solid Support. You will all receive an email, I think 2 hours after this is finished, with some contact details for Solid Support in there. There is material available from Solid Support and from our website. This session is actually recorded as well, and you will receive in that email a link to that recorded session so you can see and share that with colleagues. Now, just to look at questions in there, someone's asked about the project viewer. The viewer is a free viewer. Just go onto the Alicosoft website, look for project viewer, and there'll be a download link. You just have to fill a small form in, just saying name, company, and email, and then you'll get a download link for the software. That's free of charge to use. That will actually open up not only a Powerproject file, but it will also open up an XCR file, XML file, or a Microsoft XML or MPP file. So it's quite useful in there that you can open that up. And even if you have the 4D, it will allow you to open that. Someone's asked, about security. The security inside Vision can be configured to limit what projects people can see, and if they can download those or they can check them out. So you might only give people access to download a project, not check it out, so they can't work on it, can't make any changes or commit any changes. Powerproject Vision does also allow you to open up a previous version of a project. So if I just show you briefly here, in here, and inside here, if I wanted to open up a project, I could open up the latest version, or I could download a specific version. So I could choose which version I want to open up as my project, and I can even choose which version I want to open up as a baseline. I can choose previous checked-in versions as those as well. So I can click on those and update those. Okay, other questions we've got in here. The users inside are named licenses in Vision, so you name the people you're going to be using Vision. You choose to purchase Vision as either 25 user or a 50 user license, and that will allow 25 users in or 50 users in as active users inside the system. But they will have to be named, even if they're read only. They have to be a named user inside Vision inside there. Someone's also asked about his revisions. So the revisions don't get deleted in there. In Powerproject Vision itself, if I show you in here and I just look at my projects, again, who can delete a project is limited by security. I'm admin, so I can do everything. But if I did go and click on a project and delete it, and it's going to say you're about to delete the project, oh no, I've deleted it, but I've actually got set up here that I can actually, let me get rid of pending delete. It appears to be gone, but I can actually turn on my pending delete. So it's still there, and I can actually restore that back. So it's not always lost, and there isn't a one-click delete inside there. I can also click in here and I can type anything I want in here. So if I type in Riverside, in there I'll start typing Riverside, and there it'll find anything in there. If I type in Rev, it'll find anything Rev, I'd say 2, Rev 1, in there it'll show me. If I type in ABC, it'll find me that. So it's a really quick and easy way to find the projects that you may want to see and use. Okay, so that's all the questions we have there. I say if you do have further questions, let us know. I'm sure that Hemang will be reaching out to you to see if you have any further questions or any other needs. And do let us know, and we can do a custom demonstration to you to show you some of the potential and answer any specific questions you may have. Other than that, thank you very much for attending. I say this has been recorded, and it will be available for you about 2 hours after this finishes to view again or share with colleagues. Thank you very much. Thank you, Hemang, and hope everyone has a good day.
Wonderful. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining. Have a nice day.